Mr. Stonecipher, you're a teacher
Yes. Yes, Your Honor.
and you used to be the teacher for Ms. Hunt's child, is that correct?
Correct. From about February of 2023 to about November of 2023.
All
2020,
right.
apologies. To November
And
2020. So I had the year incorrect.
during that time, and I believe subsequent to that time, it appeared to you that Ms. Hunt developed an infatuation for you and she responded to you or in ways that you felt uncomfortable with, and you reported it on a regular basis to your principal. Is that right?
It did not appear to me she had an infatuation with me after her son had left my class. She gave me a note in April of 2023 confessing as much, and I involved administration immediately. um, because I did not want accusations being leveled against me or to be seen as not being transparent.
Okay. And what's been your communication to Ms. Hunt that you did not want her contacting you in that way?
Initially, she had said she wanted to get together and talk, and I responded with an email saying that I would not prefer to discuss that matter further. I then cut off contact entirely for fear of any action I took being misinterpreted as anything but the same amount of kindness I would extend to all of my parents, current and past. And I had my administrator request that she no longer contact me. She continued to include me on emails regarding her son, on emails regarding on personal matters. She found my birthday and sent me a personal birthday message. She and her child showed up at my house trick or treating, and then most recently, she has sent gifts to my home, naming my child and me and my wife. And it's very stressful considering I none of this is wanted, warranted, or necessary, as there is no reason for her to professionally communicate with me.
Okay. And to be clear, on the timeline here, you said that she was contacting you about, I believe you said her son who was in your class. Was that while your son was in your class, or was that after he had left your class?
After he had left, she continued to include me on contacts, up to and including after she had been asked not to by my administrator.
All right. Thank you. Ms. Hunt,
Yes, Your Honor.
anything you want to say?
Um, I have a lot to say. Is there anything in particular you want me to cover, Your Honor?
Well, Mr. Stonecipher says that he's asked you not to contact him, that your contact has made him, I'd say, on edge. It is a gentle way of saying it. It's caused him a lot of anxiety. And from the way he's indicating to me, he's made that apparent to you, and yet you continue to contact him. So tell me your version of
Yeah,
that.
absolutely. Have you gotten a chance to see my declaration pages 1 through 13 at all?
I did, yeah.
Okay. So basically, an overview of the situation is at no point did Dustin Stonecipher directly tell me he didn't want contact with me. The closest I got to that was on the May 3rd email that stated he didn't want to talk about personal matters, that he was adjusting his professional hours, and that he was only going to interact with parents concerning their children's education. So I respected that and ended up including him on emails because, as far as I know, he was still involved with IEP projects between him and the other teacher, and I wanted to keep everyone on the same page. I did not have anyone directly say about not contacting him until the June 2nd email from the principal, and then a follow-up call. When I talked to him, it sounded like it was advice. And when I talked to the school staff, they stated everything was fine. He didn't have an issue with me. The first time they heard anything was me bringing it up. And this is all in May of 2023. So it was very confusing to me. And then when me and him did have interactions, like him taking pictures with my son the end of the year, he went along with that. He was smiling. When we were coming through his neighborhood, which I can go into the details why we were over there, and I have witness statements to say why I was over there, he was smiling. So I wouldn't have known that he didn't not only not want contact, but that he wasn't okay with interacting with me.
Thank you. Mr.
If he
Stonecipher.
ever directly told me in any communication that he did not want contact with me, I would have honored that. But I did not get that.
So your view is that Mr. Stonecipher hadn't told you not to contact him, and did you think he wanted you to contact him?
No, it wasn't that directly. It's that in his May 3rd email, which I'm sure, let's see what exhibit that is here. In his May 3rd email, he stated that, you know, he was going to be keeping strict office hours and that he was only going to discuss matters appropriate to hit the child's education. He appreciated that I wanted to, you know, clear the air, you know, with regards to misunderstandings between us, but he wasn't comfortable doing that. That's the summary, even though I have the email here. And he can attest to whether that's accurate or not, of course.
Okay, thank you.
And so the takeaway I had from that was that he didn't want to talk about personal matters, but he was fine as long as the contact was consistent with his professional news standards.
Okay. And then subsequent to that, you sent him a birthday gift?
Yeah, so there's a little bit of background on that, so I'll try and keep it brief. So he was an educator that my son really bonded with, and me and my husband were considering whether to have long-term contact with him. So I ran a background check on him. In the declaration, it says November of 2023. That was a typo. It was November of 2022. Okay. Now, background checks weren't abnormal for us because I was a victim of statutory rape of a minor, and I was a ward of the state, and so were my kids in the past. So background checks had to be done on people in close proximity to our family, including my own husband had to be background checked. So if we were considering someone long-term to be in contact with our child, we were going to do a background check. So I did that. I didn't come across his address during that. I was just looking at legal stuff. I did come across his month and year. I came across July of '83. I did not come across the date. I didn't find that out literally until I received the protection order. I had forgotten about that. And then it was either May or June of 2023, I was standing outside the psychologist's office waiting for a meeting, and a lady came by and we were talking about birthdays. And when I got to the month of July, she turned and pointed to Dustin's class and said, "Oh yeah, I think Dustin's birthday is in July." And then that's when I remembered what I had looked up on the background check, that his birthday was in fact in July. And it was '83. I still didn't know the date. And I have this in my exhibits. I emailed him on July 15th. His birthday is July 2nd. So I did not know the day. Put that up. Yes, because I had turned 40 and he had done pictures with my son the previous month. So I thought he was okay with some level of contact. So I sent that to be encouraging. So that's what that was. I have only since my son has left school in June of 2023, I have only intentionally contacted Dustin twice. And those 2 times were his birthday and the gifts that I sent in January of 2025.
All right, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Stonecipher, do you have anything else you want to add?
I'm just now finding out about the background check that was run on me. I am background checked through the district. I find that to be highly inappropriate that a background check was run on me. The message in June did say to quit contacting me. It did not stipulate whether it was for personal or business matters. The number of communications and the coincidental nature of the visit on Halloween does not matter to me. What matters to me is that I feel like my privacy has been violated. I feel like I was trying to be polite and not cause further issues, because if, as you'll see in the original letter, Mrs. Hunt did state that she didn't intend to act on these feelings and that she would prefer if her husband did not know about them. And I was trying to be courteous. Additionally, the only reason this was not brought up sooner is the optics of the matter. I am a 6'5" large, very imposing man. I was concerned that people would respond to me in a way that would be belittling and that would be hurtful. And the folks who I have told this to, many of the responses have been. So sending gifts to my family is inappropriate. Sending me any communication is inappropriate. I do not wish to have a long-term relationship with Mrs. Hunt. I still hold a special place in my heart for Nathaniel, and I posed for a picture with Nathaniel because regardless of Mrs. Hunt's actions, he still means a great deal to me and I still care for him. That said, what she has done has caused me no end of anxiety and stress, and I just want it to be done.
All right. Thank you. And Mr. Stonecipher, does Ms. Hunt's son attend school where you teach currently?
He does not. He has not attended since June of 2023 at my school.
Okay, thank you. And Ms. Hunt, do you have any other children that attend the school where Mr. Stonecipher teaches?
No, Your Honor.
All right, I will find that the ongoing contact by Ms. Hunt to Mr. Stonecipher is in fact reasonably taken by him as harassment and causing significant anxiety. He's made that clear. I believe that in the context of the communications that I've reviewed between the parties, Mr. Stonecipher had made that clear to Ms. Hunt, and she persisted in the communication. Based on that, I will enter the order in this case. Ms. Hunt, you're to have no contact at all with Mr. Stonecipher or his family. You're not to go within 1,000 feet of Mr. Stonecipher, his family, his home, or his workplace. And Mr. Stonecipher, this order will be in effect 1 year from today's date. If you want it renewed, you'll have to come back to court and ask for it to be renewed. And Ms. Hunt, the fact that the order does expire, which is a statutory standard, does not mean that at that point in time, Mr. Stonecipher wishes communication from you. He's made it very clear he does not. So I would suggest.
Your Honor, I have a question concerning my work because I'm a delivery driver and this makes it very challenging to fulfill my work. And I state this under considerations for my family since I'm the sole provider.
Okay, and what's the concern you have going within 1,000 feet of the school or going at 1,000 feet of his home?
Both are very challenging. Because I do not know the addresses in which I'm going to deliver until I pick up the orders. It makes it very challenging to stay off of College Street, which is a very major street through Lacey, which I'm trying to avoid, but I literally have College Street on one side and Ruddle on the other. I'm sandwiched between the two. And either one is either borders his work or borders where he lives. So it's very challenging. I'm not saying I haven't worked on rerouting this weekend to try and make sure I stay 1,000 feet, but it makes it very challenging to do that. Because as I said, I don't know the addresses I'm delivering to until after I pick up the orders.
Okay.
And I would also like it to be considered that I have for the last 1.5 to 2 years avoided going over to his neighborhood, even though the rest of my family goes over there 2 to 3 times a week.
Yep. Okay. All right. Well, that's not going to factor in to me, but I'll give you a
Okay.
little flexibility. I've reduced the distance from 1,000 feet to 500 feet to lessen the impact on your ability to do your job. But with
Thank
that
you, Your
change, the remainder of the order will be in effect and
Yes, Your Honor.
does not need further service. And if either one of you want a copy of the order, you can access it through your file at district court. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.